I do think that it's not going to go away. I don't think it's going to be easy but I think it's essential that it stay, that it be driven by humans.
Moma?
Yeah, I believe, I totally agree, I believe so, because of the thing to make, the main key to make the difference is not the AI tool, it's the person sit behind the AI tool, behind the AI tool, behind the laptop. That's the person create all the ideas. I mean, like, it's definitely would like to support the creators and the designers and the filmmakers. I feel in the future, education is super important. I feel that's definitely just help all the creators to be more productive.
There's a harsh reality to this that has always existed within all creative pursuits, is that it is a land of many, many try and very few succeed. And that has nothing to do with technology, although technology tends to exacerbate it. But the core principle of a very competitive field, whether it's fine art or current, modern arts or mainstream art forms, is that many, many people attempt and very few succeed both creatively and even fewer succeed economically. So when you apply a technology layer to that with an industry that's already very, very challenged economically, it is not a very healthy industry well before AI, right? It's a difficult industry to run, it's a difficult industry to monetize, and the hits are very few that make a lot of money, but the attempts are very many that don't make any money. So this is kind of where we've always lived as a field. And when you start to study the use cases and the dynamics of AI applied to this challenge, which is an ever-present challenge, I'll give you a sort of a salient example. You took 100 movie producers and put them all in a room and said, I can help you with all of your crowd scenes now. I don't want to make your whole movie. I just want to help you so that you have to spend 1/1000th of the cost. You used to have to hire all those extras, get all the costumers, get all the cameras, get all the locations, get all the stuff, and spend 70% of your budget, but 70% of your budget to shoot 20% of your movie. I can now bring that cost.
Live from CES. It's working now.
Bro, I'm about to get frustrated, so...
It's live.
It's live now
Yeah.
on YouTube?
Yeah.
All right, well, we can go live on, here. Hey, guys, we've been trying to go live, like literally go live. I don't have a microphone, so hopefully you can hear me. We'll see if we can get that figured out momentarily. But we're trying to go live and see if we can get this stuff tested out before tomorrow. And they have some panels, and we thought that you guys might be interested in hearing what the panels have to say. So I'm hoping that it works, but if it does not work, we'll go from there. So it says you're live, but I don't see it. But
I see it.
oh, you see it on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Sammy's excited about doing this, and we're going to see if we can make it happen. So hopefully we'll have enough juice in the next session, and we'll go from there. All right, yeah, it says we're live. I don't know what are the comments. Let me see the comments. Let me see the comments. Let's see what we have here. Awesome fun. Awesome good thing. Oh, you know what? Matt, I think I'm going to try and call you right now. I got to go by. It says it stops up. All right, here we go. I'll be back. But Sammy's going to keep this thing going. So there's nobody in here because the next panel is coming up. So just giving you a heads up. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. But there's a guy that works for Google, Awesome Fun Things, or Awesome Good Things, and I think we tried to get him to follow you last year, but we'll see if we can get him to follow you this year if he's not following you. So, hopefully that helps. But today, this session was all about AI and creativity in films and content, and the next session is, if I'm correct, is AI copyright and data valuation. So, AI and copyright, so check out the panel. We'll be live, so we will be back with you momentarily. Hopefully we do not lose juice because we've been fighting this thing all day. Gotta go, guys.
I guess I'll take over the stream. When's the next session?
Like 10 minutes.
Okay. You want me to put the lav mics on?
No, because the next session is starting.
Okay.
People behind the scenes, I guess they can see you.
Sorry about this, guys. Might be a little shaky.
Sammy,
Yeah.
He's saying I need to get a picture with the lights here. So you gotta stand up. I don't.
Okay, we're good, tall boy.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
We're working content. His name is Awesome Wood Things. He's watching live. We're live on YouTube right now. So
I'll check him out.
no, his YouTube channel is Awesome Wood Things. Okay. And I think the gentleman that was shooting last year, his name is Matt Haas. So if you see him, Matt, you can't say that and not throw you a bone, man. But he's literally about to see if he's following you now. So Awesome Wood Things. Wood Things. Yep, there it is.
Awesome. I'm not. Now I'm subscribed.
All right,
I'm in.
Matt.
Anything woodworking, I'm in.
He said he's a woodworker, so guess what? He's in. So, yeah, there it is. So it's nice seeing you again.
Thank you so much.
I'd love to talk to you some more about this AI content.
Yeah.
But I'm creating AI content.
Great. Good.
Microphones.
You use Gemini?
Flow is my business.
Good. You should keep using Flow. Maybe you're one of those $249
No, I'm not
ultra users.
I'm not on that level. I'm on the pro. I could always use some type of pro.
Well, I'm glad you like the product.
Yeah,
Keep using mine.
So we'll talk off the camera.
Cool. Yeah.
How can I stay connected?
Yeah. I'm. You hit me on the we've got a lot more on the floor. I'm going to continue, evolving that product. Pretty nice. Yeah. Hey, good to meet you. Okay. Good to meet you.
Matt, if you're watching, you cannot say I did not throw no love to you to Awesome Wood Things. So I hope you got that because that was live. Okay? He's a Google executive and he's now following you because you make some awesome products. Love you, man.
We need a shotgun mic or something. Pick it up.
Attention CES attendees, please take your seats. The next session will begin in 5 minutes. Presenters, please make your way to the stage at this time.
James, they said that we can't use any tripods. Battery percent is 21%. So I guess we have to do handheld. I think we should still do whatever happens, James, just to see how it is tomorrow and see how long the battery lasts. But we'll get the charger tomorrow. Where's Tall Boy? I think we're going to try and go live on later tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday. I got that email, James. Great. Thank you, James.
CES attendees, to help ensure an uninterrupted experience, please take this time to silence your mobile devices. Our program will begin in 1 minute.
I just need some tomatoes. I was just going to say, hello, darling. How are you doing? Good to see you. Yeah. It's been a long time. Yeah. Head down all this way.
Please take the center.
BT, come on down. There you go.
Peter, are you standing there?
I am. I am so.
So you want to scoot here? Okay. Just sit there.
We'll wait a little bit. Well,
Fine.
living in Tulsa. Oh, sure. Teaching at University. Good for you. Going back to LA, pick up some more stuff and pick myself up.
I can move into the back. You don't care.
Do we know each other?
No.
Ted was a visionary. I found a letter from you. Ted was a visionary from the very beginning. Yes, he is. Okay. All right, everybody. We'll start. People will be filing in, but welcome to this session that's called an AI copyright and data evaluation conversation. What comes next? And my name is Peter Chuddy. I'm the chairman of Creative Media. We're a business consultancy, legal services firm, and work with clients across media, entertainment, AI, and tech, and advise them about this landscape that we're going to be talking about today, which is wild and crazy, and also try to help get both sides really working together and partnering together. So that's what we do. And I'm going to introduce everybody here. Every year, this is something like my fifth one doing this. And every year, I'm just amazed by the quality of the panels that we have. And this year is truly no exception. And intentionally, I tried to get a panel that represents all aspects across the AI media ecosystem. So we have artists, tech companies, we have lawyers, and then we have a company that bridges the gap with compensation that works for all parties across the ecosystem. So I'm going to just go one by one. We'll do short introductions so we can get right into it because there's a lot to get into. If you want to get more deeply into bios, you'll be able to look them up online. So Dave, I'll start with you.
Hey everybody, Dave Davis. I'm Chief Content Officer at Protégé. Protégé is a company that aggregates content, audiovisual content, and other kinds of content to license to AI companies. So we do bridge the gap. My background is I worked at movie studios for a number of years.
One thing, I got to stop you.
Yes.
So you have some big news today.
No comment.
Oh, okay. I'll bring it up. But anyhow. Yeah. Rebecca?
Hi, I'm Rebecca Grossman-Cohen. I work at the New York Times. I lead strategic partnerships there, which means I work with the biggest tech companies and other kind of very consequential companies to have really strong relationships, do commercial deals. Increasingly, those deals are about Gen AI and licensing Times content for Gen AI. I've spent my career in the news business on the business side of news. So I've been there at the Times for almost 12 years, and it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you. Jason?
Hi there, my name is Jason Henderson. I'm a senior attorney at the law firm JWL International. I specialize in media and IP licensing. I am so passionate about copyright that I am very excited to be talking about this topic today, and I'm so thankful that you guys would have me on. And I get to sit next to the New York Times, which is like the coolest thing ever. So
That's pretty cool. BT.
Hi, my name is BT. I am a Grammy-nominated electronic music artist and film composer and a reluctant developer. So I've been making music software for the better part of 30 years, about the same length of time I've been making music professionally. In this context, I sort of sit on both sides of the aisle in that I have a foot in development in the generative AI music space, and I'm also a music artist. So there you go. I'm excited to be here.
Good to have you. And Emmy.
Hi everyone, my name is Emmy Weiner. I've been in tech for decades, and most recently I was with Google and Google Cloud focusing on Gen AI and emerging tech commercialization, and with Peter. So I'm excited about sharing some of the projects that we did.
Yeah, no, it'll be really interesting to hear how Google is approaching this transformation, and so we have some stories to tell. But as I was saying, these years go by very quickly, and I'm just going to do a quick recap from last year to this year, so CES to CES. This is what's changed. These are just some of the headlines. Studios, the movie studios, major Hollywood studios, finally took the leap and they sued AI developers. And the lawsuits, the 3 major studios sued Midjourney, so that's pending. The first fair use decisions, and we're going to get into that. We're not going to get into the weeds about copyright law, but we'll get into kind of the high level. And the first fair use decisions came down, which, depending on which side of the equation you're on, the interpretations are significantly different. They're the first massive settlements that came down between media and tech, And so Anthropic just settled, it's not a final settlement yet, it needs to be approved by the courts, $1.5 billion settlement with book authors, and that was about copyright infringement. We're going to get into that. And then something shocking at the end of the year, like it was shocking to me, was that Disney, which is the most IP protective company on the planet, agreed to invest $1 billion into OpenAI. And as part of that deal, OpenAI Sora gets the use of Disney characters, which is pretty fascinating. We'll talk about that. Generative video has gone mainstream. AI chatbot search, of course, is now common behavior. It wasn't really a year ago. Just by a show of hands, how many people here in the room are primarily using AI first search now? I think it's 50-50-ish. And then one final thing to kind of set the stage. I just read a McKinsey report that said that tech companies will be investing $7 trillion on infrastructure up to 2030. Now, it's not all AI, but most of it is. So it kind of begs the question of, shouldn't some of that money go to the creators and the content owners? So this panel's going to make sense of it all. And I'm going to start, Rebecca, first. If you could give me the Times perspective, the New York Times perspective on the fundamental issues that are raised when tech is using content, and New York Times content in this case, for its generative AI purposes.
Sure. I mean, I can say it pretty quickly. It should be paid for for any use of our content in these tools. Like you just made the point that these companies are investing $7 trillion across,
according to McKinsey,
right? Across all the different kind of components that go into making these tools work, whether it's chips and compute, or data centers, or talent, or real estate to house their talent. They're spending a lot of money to do that, and they're also using content, but are doing it in ways that we believe are sort of stealing, at least for now, because they can, in their view. Obviously, our perspective is that that's not appropriate. And content is the kind of fundamental input that makes these tools useful for all of us, for all of you to search for things on the internet. Without the content, it wouldn't be productive. So we look at it in a few ways. There are a few sort of broad components for Gen AI tools and uses of content: training, RAG, and outputs. And we think about that when we think about how we work with AI companies.
Can you explain RAG?
So I will. All three really quickly. Training is, basically using ours and other content creators' vast archive of data and information, proprietary data, to help the models understand what syntax is and investigative topics, and understand what it means to speak and write like a Times journalist. It's the data that really powers the foundation of their models, and once it's in their tools, it's there kind of forever. And so we believe that the value that publishers and other content creators get back should reflect how much goes into how much value they're getting out of that. RAG is real-time access to information that the Times and other creators provide. It's truth, it's fact-checked, it's quality, and they are kind of pinging the Times and other publishers regularly to get access to that data. Their users know that it's real and it's fact-checked, and the AI provider should be paying for that on an ongoing basis as well. And then there's outputs. Outputs is, the summarization of either verbatim text and content or generated summaries. The way that we think about that is, again, there's a value to that the developers are getting and their users are getting. We also want to make sure that it's not so substitutional that users don't need to go deeper and go further into the content with providers. And so we structure our deals in a way that makes sure we have the right kind of content controls to sort of prevent that. So we look at all the different use cases and want to have the right kind of relationships with developers to create the best outcomes. Of course, we take action to enforce our IP rights when we can't arrive at the right kind of terms, and we can talk about that.
Yeah, we'll definitely
later.
talk about that. Thanks for laying that out. So, Rebecca was talking about from the content perspective, different areas of copyright, and that's going to be, those kind of buckets are right in the center of all the ongoing litigation that you hear about. So Jason, briefly, if you could describe on the other side, and then Emmy, I'm going to ask you to get your perspective too, but Jason, just from a kind of a macro legal perspective, fair use, which is the defense that's always used in copyright infringement, basically that we can use this content for these purposes and there is no consent and compensation needed.
This is actually a wonderful topic. Okay, so very, very basically, the thing to think about is, first of all, copyright. Remember, copyright is about money. Copyright is a government-sanctioned monopoly on your product because the government wants to encourage you to make work. That's the whole point, is you get to be the only one who copies it for a period of time because what the world is interested in is in more IP, more creation. And it's one of the most wonderful inventions of mankind because it mated creativity with commerce. Fair use, as an exception, was created because, hey, public policy, we want to create more work. And so as long as you are not taking too much, you are not competing in the market by directly copying it, as long as you're not breaking that monopoly, it's actually a 4-part balancing test, but we won't get into it. As long as you are not breaking that monopoly where BT owns that work, and if you're stealing it from him, then you're violating his copyright. But fair use says the public wants to create more work. And so, periodically, when somebody copies something, they say, we have the right to it, it's fair use. Fair use is not a get-out-of-jail-free card to steal work. It is only a tool by which you can create more work that is actually justifiably yours. And so we can get into that. But that's the way to think about it. Always think, what are we actually trying to do? We're trying to make sure that work gets paid for such that the artist has a reason to keep being an artist and not quit being an artist and make more work.
Yeah, I mean, essentially in a lawsuit that you have a copyright infringement, and then it's a defense to copyright infringement that it's fair use, and that's kind of the state of play. So, Emmy, who works at Google, what's your perspective from big tech? How would you say this issue, this central issue, manifested itself in day-to-day business?
For us, we had, and just to clarify, I worked at Google. I'm an ex-Googler now, but I think from technology perspective, it's changed so much faster than ever before. So we are responsible to launch as many as products possible. When it comes to content that consistently changing in an LLM world, then I think we're going to have to treat it very differently and very carefully. And that's why some companies have advanced more aggressive approach versus some are slower and a more responsible approach. And so it's up to companies. Google is more responsible companies. So we take a very careful approach, and that also pros and cons of being slow. But we have to be very fast in the market as well. I think that's something I have to consider.
Yeah, and I'll want to get into the specific example so that people see how you approach that in this one particular project. But beforehand, so BT, as an artist who's also a technologist, you have a foot in each camp. And it doesn't have to be one or the other, so sometimes these conversations seem that way. But how do you feel about, just from an artist perspective, and speak not just for yourself, but your friends, about what's going on there, generative AI, how it's being used?
I think, like many other people, I oscillate wildly between awe and horror. And it depends on the hour, not even really the day. I think that, the conversations around generative systems, insofar as in the music domain, were ontological for a long period of time. And it was kind of like this Black Mirror conversation. I would be talking to my peers years ago and saying, like, this is coming, you're going to be able to type a sentence and make a piece of music. And I think that that people thought that that wasn't a real impending technology. It was like on the foreseeable horizon, and we find ourselves in a really interesting place. Speaking from the perspective of someone who is in awe and thinks that there's awesome things here, I think really the fundamental thing about all of these technologies, whether they're LLMs, they're generative visual systems, they're generative music systems, is the part of me that's an artist really needs to kind of foundationally point at how the sort of first principles substrate levels of these models were trained. And because there was this legal gray area, a lot of these developers, willfully speedran development of these technologies in a way that dramatically infringes on artist rights. And so it's something I can't overlook. I just can't not be figure out, fair compensation models for remunerating everyone from the New York Times to, intellectual property rights holders that are artists, musicians, visual artists.
Look, the value, because the topic here is the value of content, which tech companies call data. And my first word of advice to tech companies is always not to use the term data. But Rebecca was saying with the New York Times, you can get your news through AI news sources, but you don't have verified sources, you don't have the in-depth report, you don't have any of that. And similarly, when it comes to music, yes, it's very easy to get music that sounds decent, but if you want to support your artists, all that kind of thing. So this is, and then we get into what you do, and I think that'd be interesting as a bridge to, you're directly in the heart of bridging that gap. And so tell us a little bit about just what the approach is, and then, do you mind if I say the news? It's public.
Yeah, so I'm not.
It's public. So
I'm not the
gonna
person
say
who talks about it. So you can talk about it.
It's a pretty big deal. So A16Z, which is the venture fund, I think it's an early stage venture fund of Andreessen Horowitz, which this is my editorial on it, not Dave's, which is not necessarily the most IP artist friendly from the creative community standpoint. Just invested, it was just announced today, into Protégé, which is interesting because Protégé is bridging the gap.
So I'll let other people talk about that. But we
just
are
about kind of the approach to how you're going about it.
So we've been one way or the other. We've been working with a predecessor company and then through Protégé at aggregating audiovisual content to license to AI companies on a license basis. And we work, by the way, with a lot of AI companies who are not really well known for talking a lot about needing to license copyrighted work. Stop it. But they do, and the momentum seems really clear. A few data points. We now work with well over 100 media companies around the world. We did in 2024, our media revenue was 0. In 2025, our media revenue was 8 figures. So that's a pretty nice